Recently, I got to attend something at work called the Women's Round Table. Once a month, women at work gather around a table that is not round at all and talk about life, work, in whatever topic we've decided to tackle that particular month. It's honestly one of my favorite meetings, partly because it's thoughtful and partly because, let's be honest, sometimes it's nice to talk without all the dudes in the room. This particular month, the topic was finishing things. January goals, New Year's resolutions, why we start strong and then mysteriously disappear by February. The speaker mentioned a book called Finish by Jon Acuff, and one idea particularly stuck with me so much that I wrote it down immediately. It was this concept of internal rules. The idea is that every one of us has personal rules that we follow, we live by. It's like an internal operating system that applies almost exclusively to us. And here's the important part. If you try to apply your own internal rules to someone else's life, they might make absolutely no sense at all. In fact, some of my rules, when taken together, work for almost nobody else on the whole planet. And that's not a problem, because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do things what we call the right way. It means the way that everyone else seems to do them. And sometimes that pressure is helpful. There are social norms that exist for a reason. For example, you should probably wear pants in public and put both shoes on and don't wear 2 watches at the same time. Solid guidelines for life. But when it comes to how we work, how we start, how we finish, and how we motivate ourselves, following someone else's system can completely break ours. Let me give you an example. I'm not a hardcore perfectionist in every area of my life, but when I care about something, I really care. And perfectionism has a sneaky trick. If you don't start, it's still perfect. The moment you start, it's not. So yeah, that's a problem. So I developed a rule that would absolutely drive most perfectionists insane. I intentionally mess up the first step of whatever I'm starting on purpose. This year, on January 1st, I had several goals made, and I made a rule. I was not allowed to start any of them on January 1st. I started all of them on January 2nd. Why? Because the perfectionist part of my brain loves streaks. I've done this every day this year. It sounds great until you miss a day, and then suddenly the entire goal feels ruined. But if I skip day 1 on purpose, the streak is already broken. There's no perfection to maintain. So instead of obsessing over 365 flawless days, I just keep going. If I miss day 48, I just pick it up back on day 49 and don't spiral into self-loathing. That rule works for me. Another rule I use shows up at work. I'm newer in my particular position at work, which means, shockingly, I don't get everything done right the first time. Things usually take 2 or 3 passes, and that's normal. No one ever sees the first draft anyways. So when I start something, I tell myself one simple phrase. It's not horrible. That's the bar. Not horrible. Well, one afternoon on Friday, I was accidentally saying that phrase out loud while the engineer I was working for was standing right next to me. I finished a rough draft of the sketch and said, well, it's not horrible, and kept going. He stopped and looked at me and said, please tell me that's not the standard we're going for? He knows me pretty well, so he knows that's probably not true, but he had to ask anyways. And I said, oh, no, absolutely not. I'm going to fix it. I just need something on the page. Because if I try to make everything perfect the first time I put it down, I'll freeze. But if I allow myself to put something down and something that's just not horrible, I can refine it, improve it, make it excellence. 30 minutes later, the drawing looked pretty good. And he looked at it, he smiled, and he said, well, that's not horrible. And I knew he got it. These rules, starting on day 2, allowing the first draft to be messy, would stress somebody out if they try to apply them to their own life. But they help me finish things. They help me start things. Over time, I've built more rules like this. I'll work for something for just 5 minutes, even if it needs an hour. It tricks my brain into starting the task, and I do usually end up going for the whole hour, even if I didn't want to at the beginning. I tell myself I only have to do the first step of a 20-step process, and turns out when I do the first step, I end up doing the other 19. I tell myself I don't have to finish, just start. And weirdly enough, I end up doing a lot of things the whole way through when I get past that first step. So here's my encouragement to you. What are the rules you already use, consciously or unconsciously, that help you function? Whatever works for you, even if it wouldn't work for anyone else, you should learn to apply them to your lives. Figure them out. Name them, formalize them if you have to. Because once you stop trying to live by everybody else's system, you get way more done. You feel less guilty, and you sleep a whole lot better. You see, you're not responsible for running everybody else's life. So take a breath, take a chill pill, and use the rules that actually work for you, even if they're a little weird, and maybe especially because they're a little weird. Know who you are, know what works, and keep stepping forward.